Good morning, students. The word agriculture comes from the Latin word ager, meaning field, and the cultura, meaning care. Agriculture means growing of plants or raising of animals for human use. Quality in agriculture comprises mainly of the activities that are essential in improving the improvement or the environment for the growth of plants as well as animals. In order to raise a crop, a farmer performs many tasks for a successful and good yield. And such tasks to produce a good crop are collectively called agricultural practices. Now this is the time to recapitulate the concept that we had discussed in previous two classes. This is your third lecture for the chapter crop production and management. So far we had discussed about the meaning of crop, the crop production, agriculture, the uses of agriculture, the name of the father of agriculture, Norman Ernest Borlaug, the steps in the agricultural practices, types of crops, Kharif and Rabi, and then we had discussed some of the examples as well as difference between the Kharif and the Rabi crops. The very important part of this chapter is steps in agricultural practices. As I told you, in order to raise a crop, a farmer performs many actions for a successful and good yield. These are the steps that a farmer performs for a good crop production, in which about soil preparation we had discussed through plowing and tilling. Before sowing, the selection of seed is very important. The second step, selection of seed, that also we had discussed. The third one, sowing of seeds with different methods, that also we had discussed. And the last topic that we discussed in our previous class, it was soil replenishment. Now what is the meaning of soil replenishment? We all know that the crops take lots of nutrients from the soil for their proper growth. If the farmers continue to grow the same crop year after year in the same field, the yield gradually decreases. The production gradually decreases as the soil used to become infertile due to excess use of nutrients from the soil. This is because the same plants consume the same nutrients from the soil and make it infertile. Hence, to replenish the fertility of the soil, farmers follow many different methods, in which we had discussed about the field fallow. The lands are left free to regain the nutrients. Mixed cropping, practice of growing two or more crops simultaneously, means together on the same piece of field or land. Okay? And the third, we discussed about the crop rotation. What is the meaning of crop rotation? The process of growing a crop in between two similar crops is called crop rotation, that we discussed that day. This is the crop number 1. The harvesting of the crop number 1 and the sowing of the crop number 2. There is a time gap. The farmers used to plant a typical type of crop in between these two crops so that this plant will regain the mineral content of the soil. And mostly they prefer to sow a leguminous seeds, crop seeds in this gap. These are the natural methods to replenish the minerals into the soil. Manure is added to the field to get better crops. As the plants grow, they keep on using some nutrients from the soil according to their need. The plants grown on such soil may be deficient and may not be healthy. Therefore, it is important that the nutrients of the soil be replaced. This is done either by natural method or by what? adding manure or fertilizer. So field fallow, mixed cropping, crop rotation, they are the natural method. But these natural methods alone are not enough to maintain the fertility of the soil, and farmers have to add manures and fertilizers sometimes. This what we are going to study in today's class. Crop production and its management, addition of manures and fertilizers, the next step of the agricultural practices. But before that, just concentrate on two words, organic and inorganic. You must have experienced while teaching that these two words generally comes in the answer, that organic materials and inorganic materials. But what is the difference between organic, inorganic, and what are they? See, organic associated with the living organisms. First of all, these materials, it is having relation with the living organisms, and they were once living. Means after decomposition of the materials which is formed, which were once living, then that material formed after their decomposition, it is termed as organic. And the most important point, the organic material contain carbon, carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids. These are the examples of the organic material. What about inorganic? Just opposite of organic. It is not derived from living matter. Means no decomposition is there. Second, they have never been living. They have never been living means they don't have any relation with the living matter of the environment. And the very important part, these are mostly without carbon. Water. Does water contain carbon? No. Can you guess? Is it organic or inorganic? You can guess. It is inorganic. Clear? So, now we will discuss what is manures and fertilizers and how do they replenish or add the minerals into the soil. First of all, what is manure? Manure is a natural substance. Mind it, manure is a natural substance prepared from decomposition of plant and animal waste. Who does the decomposition? The decomposers, the microorganisms. The microorganisms act on the plants and animal waste, and it takes a bit long time to convert it into the organic materials. They were once living, associated with living organisms and contain the carbon. And what are the waste? Cow dung, animals, dead leaves, dead insects or kitchen waste. What is the meaning of kitchen waste? Kitchen waste means comprises of the vegetable waste that comes out during the preparation of the food. Now, this manure is rich in humus, that is organic matter, and which is very useful for the plants. And it is formed due to the action of the microbes. Microbes means the microorganisms. Rich in humus. What is the meaning of humus? The fertile layer of the top fertile layer of the soil, which is mostly made up of the organic materials. What is organic materials? The decomposed part of the living matter. Now, what is the advantage of manure? First, it improves the soil texture. It makes the soil fine by addition of the minerals into the soil. Number two, it increases the number of friendly microbes as the minerals content is increased in the soil. The growth of the microbes also increased. It also increases the good water holding capacity. Means more water can be absorbed or retained into the soil. The soil becomes porous. Porous means many tiny holes are there. Hence, exchange of gases becomes very easy. Clear to you? Advantages of manures, once again I am explaining. It improves the soil texture, it increases the number of friendly microbes, it also increases the water holding capacity, and the last one, the soil becomes porous, means lots of or many holes are there which help in the exchange of the gases. Clear? Green manure. Another type of a manure is there. What is the meaning of green manure? It is a manure consisting of growing plants that are plowed back into the soil. Now what is this green manure? The farmers also use another method for providing manure to the soil. They grow quick growing plants like alfalfa, sun hemp and millets, etc. These are then plowed back into the soil while still green. These serves as green manure. Now what happens? There are some of the plants which are grown into the soil. When they are in green condition, means when they are not matured, they are still in the field and they are plowed, means the instruments are run over the soil to press the crop into the soil. Which crop? Alfalfa or millets, pea, etc. When the crop will get pressed into the soil, it is left for some times. The decomposers decompose that damaged crop and changes into minerals. Automatically, after the decomposition, the minerals are added to the soil and hence it is termed as green manure. It is a manure consisting of growing plants that are plowed back into the soil. Means harvesting is not done. Plants are there. Plants are plowed with the help of the plowing implements or the tools. It is lying on the field. The decomposers act on it. Decomposed changes into minerals. The minerals are added into the soil. And it is termed as green manure because the crop were in the green condition. Now what are the advantages of green manure? First, it increases the humus or it adds the humus to the soil, the organic material. It also increases the nitrogen content. It helps in preventing soil erosion because roots are still there. Okay. It serves as source of food and energy to microbes. Clear? The very old method that we used to prepare the manure, you must have read in your junior classes. How can we prepare manure at home? The waste of animals and plants can be used as manure to replenish the nutrient deficient soil. Farmers dump animal dung or vegetables and crop waste at open places and let them get decomposed by bacteria and fungi. And after a month or so, the manure is ready. It is then mixed up with the soil after sowing. Clear? Alright. So we have the examples for the green manure. These are the crops which are sown into the soil and then plowed back to change into green manure. They are alfalfa, sun hemp, millets, pea, etc. Now come to the fertilizers. What is fertilizers? They are not the organic material. Mostly the fertilizers are not related with any of the living matter. They are the salts or inorganic compounds produced in factories from chemicals. They are rich in nitrogen, they are rich in phosphorus, they are rich in potassium. Once again, they are salts or inorganic compounds. Inorganic means no relation with the living part. And it is produced in the factories. No action of decomposers. Okay? No microbes are there. No animal or plant wastes are there. It is only done with the help of the chemicals inside the factories. Different fertilizers are used for different plants according to their requirement. A bag of fertilizer may be marked as NPK or sometimes it is marked as CAN. NPK or CAN. This is a bag of fertilizer. A bag of fertilizer. If it is marked with NPK or CAN, what does it means? NPK means the fertilizer bag contains nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. K is the symbol of potassium. Or CAN, calcium, ammonium and nitrate. If the bag is marked with NPK, means fertilizer is rich in nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. If the bag is marked with CAN, means the bag is rich in calcium, ammonium and nitrate. Clear to you? So, fertilizers are the organic compounds that containing nutrients such as nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus. Now, one point to be noted that the China is the first or the largest country, leading country for producing and consumer of the fertilizers. And after China, we have US. US is the second largest producer and consumer of fertilizers, and the addition of the fertilizers, it increases 30% of global crop production. Means the crop production has been increased throughout the globe, means whole world, by 30% due to use of the fertilizers. Now the next topic is, what are the difference between the manure and the fertilizers? Okay, manure, it is natural substance prepared from the decomposition of plants and animal waste. Okay, natural means it will take a long time to form. Whereas fertilizers, it is organic substance produced in factories from chemicals. This we had discussed already during the definition of the manure and fertilizers. Second point, the manure are not as rich as fertilizers. Means the mineral contents of the manure is towards the lesser side. Whereas the fertilizers, they are a very rich source of minerals or nutrients. The action of manure is very slow. Means if you add the manure to the soil, it will slowly do its function. That it will help in the growth of the crop. Slowly it will do its own function. Whereas the fertilizers, it acts very quickly. The moment you will add fertilizers, the fertilizers which are very rich in nutrients, mostly in nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, very fast it will act on the plants and the crop production will go on a very high speed. Fourth, as manure is a natural substance formed after the decomposition of plants and animals. Hence, it provides humus, the fertile organic layer of the soil. Humus is very fertile and very important for the crop production. But fertilizers, as there is no decomposition and all the salt and minerals are present in fertilizers, it does not or do not provide humus. Clear to you? Now you have to decide which one is better, manure or fertilizer. Both of them have good sides as well as what? The bad sides also. But mostly we have seen that the fertilizers are used by the farmers in the larger amount. And you know what is the side effect of using a large amount of fertilizers? It changes the soil composition. There is a term, vermicompost. You have read about vermicompost in standard 6. What is the meaning of vermicompost? Vermicompost is a noun, and making of vermicompost is known as vermicomposting. It is a process of using earthworms to prepare manure from plant waste. If in a pit you are adding all the kitchen waste and then covering it, kitchen waste means all the plant or animal wastes. If you are keeping in the pit and covered this pit with the soil and the dry leaves and just leave it covered for 1 month or 2 months. After 1 or 2 months, the whole waste will turn into manure. The process is slow. But if you add earthworm into the pit, it will hasten the process of making compost. And this method of making manure or compost, both are same. This process of making manure or compost, which is done with the help of the earthworm very quickly, it is known as vermicomposting. The method is known as vermicomposting, and the manure or the compost which is formed with the help of the earthworm, it is termed as vermicompost. Now one question is in my mind, that if manure is there, fertilizer is there, then which one will do fast action on the crop? What we have to do, just take 3 pots. Okay, just take 3 pots and label it as A, B and C. Fill it with the soil. Add soil to each and every pot and sow the seeds of same type of crop or seedlings. Sow the seedlings of same type of crop in all 3 pots. Okay, just keep this in mind, that the seedling size should be same in all 3 plants. It should be same. Clear? Now what we have to do, add cow dung, which is an organic matter, or we can say it is a manure. Add cow dung to the first one, which is labeled as A. Then urea. Urea is inorganic substance termed as fertilizer. Okay, add urea to the second pot and nothing to the C pot. Okay, let it be in a natural process. Now we have to observe the growth of the seedlings in all 3 plants. We will see that the seedlings which was planted in pot B, it will grow in its size faster than the pot A. Pot C, the growth is slowest amongst all 3 pots. This proves that the fertilizer urea, it is very rich in the minerals, hence it speeds up the growth of the crop production by increasing the mineral contents into the soil. The manure does its work slow, that's why the process is a bit slower than the pot B. Number C, as we have not added manure or any fertilizer, so here the natural content of the soil help the seeds to grow or seedlings to grow in its natural way. Clear to you? So this way we have come to know that how fertilizers are acting better than the manure. But remember one thing, use of fertilizer should be stopped or overuse of, because it changes the chemical nature of the soil. The next one is the leguminous plant. During discussion of the replenishment of the soil, we discussed about the field fallow, mixed cropping and crop rotation. During mixed cropping, I told you that with the mixed cropping is a type of cropping where one cereal plant crop is cropped or planted in the same field with one of the leguminous plant or pulse plant. Why? Because the pulse plant adds the nitrogen content into the soil, which help the cereal plants to grow well. This one we have discussed. Even in the crop rotation between the 2 cereal crops, in that time gap, the farmers used to crop the leguminous or the pulse plant so that the soil will regain the mineral contents. Now how does the leguminous plant add nitrogenous material into the soil. Which type of plant is the leguminous plant? Pea plant, beans plant, soyabean plant, they are termed as leguminous plant. Now, how does leguminous plant help in the addition of the nitrogen to the soil? It is done by a process known as nitrogen fixation. Now, what happens in the nitrogen fixation? The process in which molecular nitrogen of the air, N2, is converted into nitrogenous compound in soil due to the action of the microorganisms. See, this is the root of the leguminous plant. Okay, in the root of the leguminous plant, there is globular structure which is known as root nodules. Nodules. Do you remember in standard 7 we have read about the symbiotic relationship? What is the meaning of symbiotic relationship? It is a type of relationship in which both the partners get benefited. Means no one will harm any one of them. Both of them will get benefit from each other. The same thing is happening in the leguminous plant also. Now what happens? In the root nodules of the leguminous plant, the rhizobium bacteria lives. The the molecular nitrogen which was in the air in the form of N2, it is not used by the plant directly. Then what happens? The rhizobium which lives in the root nodules of the leguminous plant, it changes the nitrogen, that is N2, into the salts of nitrogen, that is nitrates. And then this converted form of nitrogen, it is used by plants as a source of nitrogen. Once again, these plants have root nodules on their roots that are associated with bacteria like rhizobium. The bacteria convert gaseous nitrogen into nitrates that can be used by plants as a source of nitrogenous. Now, leguminous plants can grow well even in soils poor in source of nitrogen. See, the leguminous plant, it has root nodules. The root nodules contain bacteria rhizobium. The rhizobium is very helpful for the plant because this rhizobium changes the N2 into nitrates. So, the leguminous plant does not have any problem because it gets the nitrogen content with the help of the rhizobium. So, the leguminous plants grows well in the poor soil. If the leguminous plant grows with the cereal plants in the mixed cropping, it also helps other plants in same field. Number 3, after harvesting, the roots are left to decay to enrich the soil. If this is your leguminous plant, when it is harvested, the roots still lying into the soil. The roots with the nodules and the rhizobium, when it decay or decomposed, again the nitrogenous content is added to the soil which help in the crop rotation. Crop rotation, do you remember? Means change of crop. If the pulse plants are, this is your crop number 1 and this is your crop number 2, and here we have planted leguminous plant. When we harvest this plant, the root will be lying in the soil. The root will decompose and will add nitrogen to the soil, which will help the second crop when it is sown in that same field. Got the point? So what we have read about the advantages of manures and how manure is formed, then what is fertilizers and how fertilizers act, and how the naturally, if no manure or fertilizers are there, then how the leguminous plants help in addition of nitrogen content into the soil. The next one is the irrigation. The water is very important part of the crop production. The meaning of irrigation, the supply of water to the plants in the field is known as irrigation. It is done by different water sources: rains, canals, waterways, wells and pumps. Now, what is the meaning of waterlogging? Very severe problem in the cities, but it also causes problem in the agriculture. It occurs when roots cannot respire due to excess water in the soil profile. If the water is stagnant into the soil, all the spaces of the soil get filled with the water and the roots will not be able to breathe due to suffocation as the water is filled into the air space. It reduces the air in the soil. It increases the amount of salt. It increases the amount of salt due to accumulation of water, which again in turn damages the soil. Number third, it kills the soil organism. Now there are two types of methods of irrigation. First one is the traditional method, very old method, in which the manual labor, the human labor and the animal labor, the animals and the human used to perform these tasks. First, drawing water from different sources, well and tube well. The people or the animals, they used to draw water from the well and tube well to irrigate the field. They also used the pumps to lift the water. The pulley system, the lever system. In the well you must have seen, there is a small wheel which is acting as a pulley. You know, these traditional methods, they were very cheap. Means it was not very costly, and normal farmers also, or the poor farmers also able to perform these tasks, but they were not efficient. They were not as good as now the farmers are using, and they are termed as modern systems of irrigation. What are the modern systems of irrigation? First one, sprinkler system. Sprinkler. Rotating nozzles are attached to perpendicular pipes. Pipes are there which is in a perpendicular condition, and at the top of the pipe there is a nozzle. Have you seen bottle of your deodorant, or this is called nozzle. Okay, this is your nozzle, and you can see how the perfume is spraying from the nozzle of the bottle. This way, this is perpendicular and fitted with the nozzle. The same way, here the perpendicular pipes were there and the nozzles were fitted on the top of the pipes, and with that nozzle it is sprayed. Which one? The water is sprayed. Clear to you? This is just to reduce the loss of water, and mostly it is used to water the plants of the uneven soil. Second one is drip irrigation. Drip means drop by drop. Providing water drop by drop to the roots, it is known as drip irrigation. This method is very useful for areas having acute water shortage. Acute water shortage means where there is scarcity of water. This system involves providing water drop by drop at the roots of the plants. Thus, water is not wasted. This system is practiced in many of the regions where water availability is poor. Clear to you? So, these are the two methods in which are followed in nowadays and termed as modern systems of irrigation. Now, a term is there, lodging. What is the meaning of lodging? Lodging means the permanent displacement of crop or stem from their vertical position due to strong wind or rain, and it affects the quality as well as yield of the grains. Now what happens? Irrigation depends on the nature of the crop plants. Water requirements of different crops are different during the various stages of their growth and maturing. Some crops plants require more water, some needs very less water. Due to excess water supply, some of the crops fell down from the stem and it is very difficult to harvest. This is known as lodging. Clear to you? Once again, the permanent displacement, if this is your stem, this is the crop which is stand erectly or erect position, and due to the pressure of the wind or the water, it fell down from this portion, bent, okay, and it is very difficult to harvest, as well as it causes the decrease in the yield of the grains. It also affects the quality of the crops. This is known as lodging. The permanent displacement means removal of crop or the stem from their vertical position due to strong wind or rain is known as lodging. And what are the disadvantages of lodging? First, it affects the quality, and second, it also decreases the yield of the grains. That much in today's class. Now homework time, you have to write down the difference between manure and fertilizer. Then you have to define nitrogen fixation, water logging, lodging and green manure. Do it in biocopy and submit it. Thank you. Bye-bye.